Hello students, myself Rajendra Kumar, and today I am going to teach you connections between the innate immunity and adaptive immunity, as well as connections between the cell-mediated immunity and humoral immunity. So before starting this topic, I want to say you that I already uploaded some videos on the uh, immune immune system, immunity, and different types of immunity like innate immunity, adaptive immunity, cell-mediated immunity, humoral immunity, passive immunity, active immunity, natural immunity, and artificial immunity. All videos are available in this playlist, and you can check out. Okay. So before seeing this video, please go through those videos and check out so that you can understand every concept clearly and afterwards see this video so you can easily understand the connections between these all immunities. Okay, actually there are not different there are no any difference among the organ parts of the systems, but they work in different manners, and that's why they are classified on the basis of work and classified on the basis of its process and mechanism and how its physiology works. So let's have a start. As I told you that immunity is, as we discussed in previous videos, we classified it into two parts: innate immunity and second is acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. Acquired immunity is also called as adaptive immunity. Okay, and there are lots of lectures are also available on this my platform channel, YouTube platform, and you can check out all these videos. Innate immunity is that immunity which is gained from the by birth, but acquired or adaptive immunity is that immunity which is not present in us by birth, but we gain after birth. Okay, means we receive it after birth. Okay, we receive it after birth from the vaccines or vaccines. Okay, there are many reasons. Innate immunity is have two types. Okay, that is the we can classify it into on the basis of first line defense and second line defense. And I also discussed all these first line, second line defense, and third line defense in the in a video which is uploaded already. You can check out. So this is first line defense, and this is the second line. So there are two types of defense: first line defense as well as second line. Right? In the first line and the acquired or adaptive immunity, it mainly relies on the or it is mainly part of the third line defense. Although in some books there is given the second, but mainly part of third line defense is there. Okay. So there are three lines of defense are available. Okay. In the first line defense, we include some barriers. These are physical barriers physical barriers, or we can say them as anatomical barrier, chemical barrier, physiological barrier, even inflammatory barrier. Even phagocytic barrier. So there are lots of barriers which we study under this first line defense. Okay. So these are some important aspects of the first line defense. In the second line defense have cellular and molecular. So this it contains some cellular components. It also contains some molecular components. Even they include lymphoid system or lymph system. But whenever we talk about the acquired or adaptive immunity, or we can say that this is third line defense. And in this third line defense or acquired immunity, it is divided or it is classified into two subcategories, and these are active and passive. Okay, active immunity and passive immunity, right? Active immunity is again active immunity or passive immunity again classified in two types, and these are natural and artificial. Okay, same here also. Passive immunity is also classified into two parts, and these are natural as well as artificial. Okay. So these are classified on the basis of where each immunity is produced. Okay, so a separate video is also available in my channel. You can check out on the playlist. Okay, and you can understand every concept of active immunity and passive immunity. So this is the a simple flow diagram of the immunity, and now we are going to understand that how they are connected. Okay, as you can see here, both of these are separated, right? And that's why we say that innate immunity is our own immunity, which we gain from the by birth. This we already had this by default. But acquired immunity is also our own immunity, but it was not present at the time of birth. We gain it from the any another person or another organism or any other aspect or mechanism after the birth, or we can say that we gain it from the some experiences. So how they are connected? Actually, every immunity or every part of immunity is connected to each other, and that is the very important factor where we can discuss that immunity, how immunity provide us the defense. Because whenever they are not connected, then how they are coordinated. So that's why they are connected with each other, and this connection is helpful uh, for the saving our lives. Okay, so I'm taking some examples so you can understand easily. Suppose there is a pathogen. Okay, there is a pathogen, and it pathogen attacks on a person. Okay, this is a host for human. Okay, human is a host. Suppose this is pathogen, means this is bacteria, might be virus, it might be viroid, it might be uh, prion, animal. Suppose this is pathogen and this is host, means human. Okay, so whenever pathogen attacks or invades on human or host, then how they react? Whenever they attack, then they have to uh, pass through the its skin, right? So skin is a physical barrier, is anatomical barrier. It can't uh, pass by the pathogen. But suppose it passes through the skin, then it has to go into the tissue, or again it has to pass through that, and then it has to uh, uh, passing out from one to second layer and continuously going on, and lastly it reaches up to blood capillaries or blood vessels where they found, right? So this is the its entry site. Second entry site might be our openings, which is very common for the almost all websites, like our eyes, our mouth, our nose, our ear, our urinogenital openings. Okay, so all these openings are open, and that's why person can enter through those. This is a very common pathway for almost all persons. And whenever they enter, so first of all, they encounter with the skin. Second is the openings. Okay. Whenever they enter through the our openings, then they find that there are lots of barriers. There are some glands. These are a physical barrier, anatomical barrier. These glands secrete some chemicals which can kill the pathogens. Like suppose bacteria is entering uh, through the mouth, and then we uh, encounter with the saliva, which is secreted by the our salivary glands, and saliva contains an enzyme that is lysozyme. Or this lysozyme can kill the bacteria, can uh, block the uh, growth of pathogens, right? So it is very common. Suppose they surpasses to this barrier, means they are able to escape from this barrier, and they reaches again, uh, or they passes to the next organ. Okay. Till the time, the next organ also contains some chemical barriers. Like whenever they reaches to the stomach, then stomach contain HCl, hydrochloric acid, and this HCl is very powerful, and it can kill the bacteria as well, or it can kill the pathogens, or the other microbe which we inhaled, or sorry, which we inhaled through the food. Okay, so they can be killed. Okay. So means suppose HCl, okay, or we can say that chemicals are there, as you seen in the mouth, like lysozyme or saliva. Okay, here HCl. Suppose it again passes, then there are lots of enzymes available in the digestive system, and these enzymes will kill the pathogen. Okay, they will digest, they will change their pH according to the condition. As you know that stomach have acidic pH, whereas this intestine, small intestine have a basic pH, and therefore bacteria can not bacteria will not survive, because every pathogen have their specific optimum range of pH and temperature. Without that, they cannot live. Okay. So they have to pass and check out all these conditions. Okay. So there are some checkpoints in our body, and suppose they again passes and then reaches to the blood. Okay. Whenever they reaches to the blood, okay, they can reach from the digestive system. They also can reach from the our respiratory system. Okay, suppose pathogen entered through your mouth or your nose and then reaches to the your trachea, and then it goes from trachea to the your bronchioles and again passes to the lungs alveoli. Okay, so after the alveoli there are lots of capillaries of blood, and they can pass through this and reach to the blood. Whenever they reaches to the blood, and then blood goes to the different organs of our body. As you know that blood go to the heart, liver. Okay, so there are many organs, and through this pathway they reaches to those organs which are very convenient for their living system, because after the reaches there they can survive easily, they can grow easily, because their conditions are optimal for each organism or each pathogens, because pathogens have specific requirements. Mostly pathogens are available in the liver and gallbladder or and nearby areas where they can find food easily. That's why they go there. Otherwise, uh, another pathogens which can survive in the another organs, like some some lives in the nervous system, some lives in the our urinogenital system. Okay, so there are lots of areas where almost every part of the body have a specific ability, and where pathogen can survive, okay, as per their required condition. So they live there and they start growing, they start working against the our conditions, and they uses our resources, and they uh, start uh, uh, start infecting to the cells and get the food. But this is harmful for us, and we get diseased, and we show some signals, and these signals are uh, uh, first time signals, and which we can say that these are symptoms. Okay, so these all symptoms can be diagnosed whenever its number reaches high. Suppose a bacteria entered into your body, then itself it cannot cause the disease. Okay, only one bacteria cannot cause the disease. They grows and they proliferate and they increases their numbers. And whenever its number reaches in a specific amount or higher amount, then it can able to cause the disease. Okay, and this number is called this number or time taken for this number is called as incubation. Okay, so incubation period contains some time, or it requires some time, and after this required time, it reaches its higher number, and after the reaches the number, they cause the disease. Okay, and the first symptom whenever we see, then it is the sign of the incubation period has been completed. Okay. So before this incubation period completed, our immune system start fighting to against them, so that they can stop them before causing the disease. But sometimes immune system fails, or immune system are not able to fight against. those pathogens as well as they are increasing. Okay, and in that case, we can get disease, and we gonna sick. So this is the uh, time which is taken by the pathogen from entry to the first sign of the disease, right? After this, suppose they whenever they are going, as I told you, suppose they are present in the skin, they are present in the another tissue, okay, or suppose they are present in the blood and they reach to the heart or liver. In midway of all these cases, there are lots of chances where can they encounter with our immune system, and our immune system always work against them. Okay, and this in this way, there are some system which are continuously fighting to them, and these are uh, like phagocytes, okay, inflammatory responses. So all these are in the first line defense, as I told you. Okay. So phagocytes fight them whenever they reaches to the tissue or whenever they reaches to the blood. Then phagocyte fight and they try to kill them. Okay. And increases some inflammatory responses as well. Okay, so phagocytes and inflammatory responses, whenever we see, then we understand that okay, our body get infected. Okay, and there are some pathogens, and we have to just go there and kill them. So our immune system cell releases some another type of cells and chemicals which go there and start fighting, right? After these, there are some chemicals also released, whether it is phagocyte, whether it is inflammatory responses. Okay, there are some chemicals. They releases some chemicals, and these chemicals are very helpful to give the signal of the second and third line of defense. Right? It gives the signal, give signals to second or third line defense, right? So actually, as I told you that these contain some cells. Okay, means these there are some cells. So cells are contains under the secondary response. Okay, so like there are phagocytes, NK cells, right? So there are lots of type of cells which are present here that contain under the phagocytes, and some molecules which are released by these, like it might be some chemical signals, it might be chemokines. Okay, so there are some molecules which are present here which we will discuss later on again. And as I already discussed with you in brief, in a video which is already given. So there are some chemicals which are releasing and they start signaling. So it means when our body encounters kill the physical barrier, chemical barrier, and after the physical and chemical barrier, it these signals go to the some. So first line defense and second line defense are connected here. Means phagocytes are there. So these are the phagocytes are the comes under the first line and second line defense. First line defense whenever they are present, but and they are generally working, they are generally flowing in the blood. But whenever they encounters the pathogen, then they it leave the blood. Suppose there are phagocytes which are moving here in the blood, and suppose here it's a pathogen. I am writing pathogen as B for bacteria. Okay. Now here this is suppose phagocyte cell. It might be neutrophil, it might be monocytes. Okay, and all these phagocytes I discussed with you already in a separate video. You can check out there. So this phagocyte will come out from the its blood vessels wall by the diaperesis process, and then will go to the site of the tissue where pathogen encounters or where pathogen is present. So it goes there, it starts processes making and engulf the pathogen and kill the pathogen by the help of these lysosomes. Okay, so they give they have some enzymes in the lysosome, and lysosome kill them. These are bacteria. Okay, and bacteria are killed by these lysosomes, and lysosome releases some uh, molecules, okay, or enzymes which can digest, which can kill them. Okay. There are lots of hydrolytic types of enzymes. There are different types of enzymes. Okay, and whenever they killed, then these bacteria, or we can say that parts of these pathogen, are leeches in its body. Okay. So this is the phagocyte, and here you can see the some parts of its body. Okay. And these parts are attached with the another type of molecules which are present in the cells already, and these are MHC molecules. So these are MHC molecules, and now cells attach to them, and these molecules presented on the surface, and this phagocyte will looks like this kind of. Now this is the molecule, and here they presented the pathogen. Okay. So these molecules are called as MHC molecule or major histocompatibility complex. Okay. So this is the major histocompatibility complex, and they present the parts of this bacteria, or we can say that antigens. Okay, and therefore we generally call them as APC or antigen presenting cells. Those cells who can present the antigen. Every phagocyte, only phagocytes are not APC. There are some more APCs are also present, like dendritic cells. Okay, dendritic cells are APCs, but they are not phagocytes. They can contain, receive the antigen. Okay, they receive the antigen and present these antigen to the another cells, and these cells are lymphocytes. Okay. So all these signals will present to the lymphocyte. Okay. Antigens presenting to lymphocytes. Okay, and now you know that there are lymph organs or lymph system. Since we already told you that these are part of our body. Okay, so that's why we call them as a second line of defense. But it contains some cells, lymphocytes. Lymphocytes generally move in the blood, and these are part of our third line, right? So this is the part of third line defense, the where lymphocytes are. So lymphocyte, whenever they receive the signal, as I discussed with you here. Okay, so lympho after the receiving the signals of the pathogen, these lymphocytes, the lymphocyte are of two types. Okay, you know very well that there are two lymphocytes. One is B lymphocyte and second is T lymphocyte, right? So B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. So these signals are receiving by these cells, okay, and most probably it is always received by the TH cell, helper T cells. Okay, these are helper T cells, and they receive antigen. They receive the antigen. They receive the antigenic signal from the APC cell. Okay, and after receiving this signal, these TH cell goes to the two different kind of cells, and these are again B cells or might be T cells. Okay, whenever they give signal to the B cell, then B cell again differentiate, start dividing and differentiate into two cells. These are, one is memory cell and another is plasma cells. Plasma cells, so plasma cells start secreting antibodies. So they start secreting antibodies, and antibodies are of like this. Okay. I already discussed with you in the previous video. You can check out that how these antibody are and how its structure and what are the important parts. Okay, everything is given. You can check out. So these are antibodies. Okay, and antibodies contain some parts here. Okay. So it contains variable region. It contains a constant region. Okay, constant region. Okay. So variable region, constant region, there are lots of type of region. And its variable region bind with antigen. Okay. So they bind with antigen, and antigen will be precipitated or agglutinated. Okay. Uh, Means these antibody go there and make a trap. Okay, and after this trap, they will bind. Okay. So like this, antibody binds all the antigens in a trap. Okay, so this kind of trap has been made by the antibody, and now this the antigen cannot be freely. Okay. So after this entrapping, all the antigen will be bound, they will be covered, they will be packed, and now they are in prison, so they cannot be leave out. Okay. So this kind of system works in case of where antibody secreted. So antibody are the uh, these antibodies. Okay, so these antibodies are the actually soluble, but that's why we call them as humoral immunity, right? So this is the humoral immunity, right? So this is the humoral immunity, and second part where T cells was, right? So now we coming on the second part, that is the T cells. Now we are talking about this part. Then T cell give the signal, as I told you that T cells and TH cells give signal to the either B cell or the C cell. Okay, TC cells releases chemicals. Okay, they releases some chemicals. So whenever they releases chemicals, and these chemical will go to the find or recognize immune compromised cells. Compromised cells. Immune compromised cells, or we can say them as antigen compromised cells. Okay. So antigen compromised cells are those cells where antigen get involved into them. Okay. Means antigen it might escape themselves into the D cells, or otherwise their machinery are not working properly. Okay, so it might be immune compromised cell, antigen compromised cell, or it might be tumor cells in case of cancer. Okay. So their machinery get lost it, and these cells will be identified by these TC cells. Okay, TC cells are called as, okay, TC cell are called as cytotoxic T cells. So these TC cell or cytotoxic T cell find these chemicals and find these cells and go there. Right now they releases, okay, chemicals, and these chemical will cover up cover up these cells. Okay, cover up these cells by these chemicals which are released. Okay. And these chemicals are very important chemicals, and we will discuss all these in the complement system. This is called as complement system, or we can say that this is the uh, because here uh, cells, T cells releases cells, and these cells are again, there are lots of type of cells. Okay, not only T cells, the T cell releases lots of another cells. Okay, so this is the we are talking about this complement system, right? So now whenever these cells are So these cells are there, and now these chemicals are recruited on the surface. Okay, here lots of chemical comes there, and these chemical starts pouring into them. They recruit some another chemical which can bore into them, and after the boring, or they they are uh, its structure is looking like a porous structure, and whenever fluid is filled into them and they burst, and after bursting they release all the pathogens which were escaped in these cells. Okay, means now pathogens are open and at outside, and this time the antibodies come here and trap them, kill them, right? So it means this portion is also associated, means humoral immunity portion is also associated with the another part, and this is the actually cell mediated immunity, which we are talking about the T cells. So this is the cell mediated immunity. Why cell mediated immunity? Because they contain lots of different type of cells, means cells releasing the cells, right? So that's why it is called as cell mediated immunity, because whenever, as you can see, Th receive the signal, right? Then T cell give the signal to Tc cell, and they can start proliferating and differentiating into another T cells. These are the suppressor cell, the killer cell, okay, the memory cells. Okay, so there are lots of cells, and that's why this is called as cell-mediated immunity. Okay, so the another portion, this is called as cell-mediated immunity, which is the T, which is caused by the T cells, right? And whenever T cell will be killed and the pathogen will be come outside, then antibody come there and antibody try to fight and try to kill them. Okay, so this is the we can say that cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity are uh, joined or are connected. So means connection, right? Connection between cell mediated and humoral immunity, right? So it is a very simple process. You can understand easily, I hope. Okay. So here you had seen that there are lots of processes. Okay. Sometimes, whenever we are watching on the children or some infants who just born, so a newborn baby do not have its developed immune system. In that time, some antibodies are given by the mother to them. Okay, and these antibodies help the those newborn baby to fight against the pathogen, so that they can easily kill the pathogens and they can survive. Okay, so now I am making a flowchart of this cell-mediated immunity and humoral immunity, so that you can easily understand that how they work. So suppose there is a cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity. Okay, so here humoral immunity, which we discussed in the B lymphocyte, right? So it is mainly based on the B lymphocyte, right? And second part is the cell mediated immunity. It is based on the T lymphocyte. Okay. So there are two types: cell-mediated immunity as well as humoral immunity. Okay. So suppose there is an antigen. So any of the immunity, either it is humoral immunity or it is cell-mediated immunity, will start working. Okay. So suppose whenever the antigen entered, and this is uh, processed by the our uh, skin barrier, skin or anatomical barrier, okay, barriers, they also encountered with the um, macrophages, neutrophils, means phagocytes, right? Phagocytes, or they encountered uh, with the then signal is given to the APC cell, antigen presenting cell, and antigen presenting cell gives signal to the TH cells, T helper cell. Okay. So this kind of T helper cell are very important. So these are the helper cell, TH cells. Now TH cell, uh, whenever they receive the signal, then they start making the cells, and here it can make the cells. These are memory cells. Okay. And memory cells stimulate, memory cell will stimulate the second immune response, second time immune response, or secondary immune response, whenever the person encounter us the second time. Okay, so it will work there. But now TH cell, it give the signal to either the B cell, okay, so it gives the signal to either to the B cell or give signal to the C cell, right? Or it gives the signal to the T cell, TC cell, right? So there are two pathways, right? Whenever B cells give the signal, then it give rise to the to another kind of cells. One is uh, give rise of the to another kind of cells. One is memory cell, and second is plasma cell, right? So there are two different cells. One is memory cell and second is plasma cells. Right? Now plasma cell starts secreting the antibodies. They start secreting the antibodies. Okay. So there are lots of antibodies will be secreted, and these antibody will fight or kill the person. These are antibodies. Antibodies are also called as immunoglobulins, right? And there are lots of immunoglobulins as we discussed: IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD, IgE, right? So there are five major classes of the immunoglobulins, which I already mentioned in the video, which are present in the our playlist. You can check out. So these antibody will fight to antigen or kill them. Okay, fight and kill them. Then finally kill them. Right. So this is the process comes under the immune system of the humoral immunity. Okay. They either way they kill them or they precipitate them, right? Or they agglutinate them. We will discuss all these points later on. Okay. Now coming to the another our system, that is the cell mediated. Here, as we said, that signal was given, antigen signal was given to the TC cell, and TC cell start releasing some chemicals. Okay, whenever T cell get the signals, then it convert into the activated T cells. Activated T cells, and these activated T cell are releasing some chemicals, which chemical will help to proliferation. Chemical, these chemicals will help to proliferation signaling. Proliferation signaling into the its own cell. These are the T cell. So that's why T cells again start differentiating, and they make more type of T cells. And second is that uh, these kill or stimulate for apoptosis. Apoptosis is self-suicide process. So they stimulate for the apoptosis to those cells which are it might be antigen compromised cells, okay, or it might be tumor cells, right, okay, or immunocompromised cells. So they go there and start to burst them, start killing them. Now, so this was the first immune response, right? Now, I'm here. So that was the first immune response, right? First or primary So this was the primary immune response. Primary immune response. Okay, but this is the secondary immune response. This is the secondary immune response, right? So secondary immune response is here whenever the uh, memory cells start working and they give the signal to killing the pathogens. Okay, so whenever memory cells involved, right, then it is called as these are the memory cells. So memory cells are involved in the second immune response, right? So this is very important because they releases some chemical signals whenever they encounter with the antigen, right? They encounter with the antigen, then they start signaling, and after it signaling starts same process again, but fast, right? But fast. So this is the complete scenario of the our immune system, how it works. Okay, so I hope you get uh, very well that how this works. Okay, the complete immune system means how the innate immunity and acquired immunity are connected with each other. Okay, here you can see we discussed all things, right? So here was the innate immunity, here is the acquired immunity, so how they are connected as I told you here. Okay, but and in the case of uh, cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity, so these are here humoral immunity and here cell mediated immunity, right? And complement system which is also present here. Okay, so you can understand the complement system also. And after this I make a flow chart so you can easily understand the connections between the humoral immunity and cell mediated immunity, and where are they connected. So I make this flow chart side by side so you can understand. And lastly, I discussed with you the primary immune response and the secondary immune response, right? So primary immune response was above this line, and secondary immune response was below this line, and you can easily understand all these, right? So uh, thank you very much, and I think you all got this. And if you have any doubt, then please comment below. Okay, and please do subscribe and share these videos to all those persons who have need. Right? So thank you very much, and also share this. Okay.